Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Amber Living Vlog. This is Beyond Film School, and I am Amber, and today we're talking about failure and rejection. Before we get started on failure and rejection, and this video will take a really dark turn, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been messaging me, emailing me, commenting, liking the video, sharing the videos. I just want to say thank you. And there are a lot of people that have been taking an interest in me making money, surprisingly. I've been getting a lot of people saying you need to have a Patreon, you need to have, Amazon affiliate, you need to, I want you to make money, Amber, off your channel. So I just want to thank you for the encouraging words. So without further ado, let's get to the video on rejection and failure. To start this off, I just want to say that it is very hard in the film industry, and I feel like this video can go a long way, not just in the film industry, but in all industries. If you are trying to look for a job or you just getting out of school, everything is super competitive regardless of what field you're working in, but specifically getting it back into the film industry is super hard. And I just want to say that you will hear more no's than yeses in this industry, and it sucks, especially when you're just starting out. You will face so much rejection. Someone once told me early on when I was just starting out that persistence beats out talent. Now, if you are persistent, you don't give up, it really does go an incredibly long way when you're on your journey to whatever goal you have. I don't care what it is. Persistence is key. If you are talented and you just give up, then talent is just wasted. Talent will only get you so far. Just remember that. Talent's only going to get you so far. Persistence is a really good quality to have, or at least develop. Being rejected is not fun. No one likes it. It really hits you hard. Sometimes if you're rejected long enough, it could lead to depression. How you deal with it and what you do with that rejection is what really matters. With every no that you get, all the rejection that you will receive, and I say will because I don't think there's anyone on this planet that's been totally accepted and been told yes every single time, and if you exist, God bless you. But I feel like with every rejection, you're going to learn from it, and I think that's the goal here, is to make sure you're learning from your rejection. A lot of people in this industry, it's about pursuing your dream, going after your goal, pursuing your passion, and just because you didn't get that gig, or just because you didn't get that interview, or whatever it was that you didn't get, or maybe you didn't get that grant or something, that's not your cue to be like, peace out, okay, I'm done with this. Do not give up, whatever it is. I feel like I may be your cheerleader in this, but I feel like someone needs to be your cheerleader. And if you're watching this, I feel like you are trying to figure out what to do to advance your career, or maybe you look to me for advice, and my advice is to not give up, whatever your goal is. Maybe my own insecurities are going to be projected in this advice. If I have these insecurities, I know there's other people out there that have them as well. You're not going to mesh with everybody. You're not going to click with everybody. Your personality is not going to complement everyone's that you are going to try to, engage with. My personality only mesh with certain types. I can't tell you what types they are, but there are some people who honestly love me. They love working with me. They like the way I work. And there are others who just fucking hate me. And I don't know why. Those are the people I just don't work with. When there are certain jobs, or you don't get an interview, or you don't land the job because you did do the interview, right? There's got to be something amiss. And it's not you're not good, you're not good enough, or you're not great at what you do, or you're not qualified. What it is I think a lot of it is just maybe you don't mesh well with that personality type. Maybe they thought you did something that was rude and you didn't mean it to be rude. There are so many different things that go along with why you didn't get something, or why you were told no. Your personality is going to fit perfectly with someone else's. You are going to fit somewhere perfectly. It's about waiting for it. I feel like a lot of people are very impatient, and I am very impatient. I will admit that I am. There's a small percentage of people who are going to give you a chance, and out of that small percentage, there's an even smaller percentage of people you are just going to click with. I mean, I've worked with people and gotten hired by people that wanted to work with me, but we just didn't kind of see eye to eye, and it was kind of strange. So in the end, it leads to this either failure or rejection. You will find your place. It just takes time. With talking about rejection, I'm going to talk about what I do to kind of, or what I did actually to kind of get through this era of being rejected all the time. It was
like, no.
Every email, or not even getting emails or whatever. It just was a period of time where I just was not accepted anywhere, and it sucked. I don't want to talk about me too much, but what I do is now I say positivity. Like, it sounds corny as hell, but I'm telling you, like, I was such a negative bitch, like, all the time, and I was like,
what is going on? What am I doing? Why are they saying how awesome I am? Why are they saying how my work ethic is? Why don't they notice I'm going to try my hardest?
All these things, you know, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And when you're negative, kind of enclosing yourself in this, like, really weird bubble, like, you're kind of shutting out the world, you're shut into yourself, and when you're like that, you're not letting your ideas flow. You're not letting your creativity flow. There's a lot of things that aren't happening when you're being negative, or you're making excuses. A lot of things are happening when you just won't let it go. Like, why didn't I get what I wanted? You know, you really are negative about it, and what you're doing is you're just not getting the right thoughts, and it just goes this like vicious cycle in your head where you're like,
negative, I fucking know. Fuck that person for not giving me this job.
Or whatever. A lot of shit is happening in your brain, and it's all negative. And that's where I was. And I always was like that. And it was horrible. Even when I was getting the jobs, I was still being negative when I was on set. Who the hell wants to have a negative person like that on set? I had a really bad attitude, and I was like, well, I didn't really get this because I was great or blah blah blah. They give this to me because I made up these really fucking weird excuses about like why I was hired by these people. Not thinking, no, they saw something in me and they wanted me to do this job. So what I'm saying is stay positive. Positivity goes a long way. When I'm in a negative mindset, no one hires me for shit. Nobody. Even now. In those moments, everything and everyone just seems so far away from me. Like, nothing is in my grasp. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I read a whole book about positivity, and I have it. And it's literally called Positivity. Or the more positive you are, the more successful you are, and there's like all this data and stuff that kind of supports all these theories about a positive person versus a negative minded person. I remember working at a TV station, and my husband at the time like made fun of me for reading this book. So then I started hiding the fact that I was reading this book. But this book, like, it really helped me. It really helped me. I'm gonna post a link if you want to buy it. I don't know, I got it for like $10-12 or something. I don't remember where the hell I got it, but I've had it for years. I really thought it was bullshit, but then when I started to be like, oh, and I started realizing I was thinking negative, I was like, okay, let's just turn this around. Let's turn this around. And then I kind of like reflected on myself, and I was like, no, let's start thinking positive things. You know, and like I took these steps and to figure out like what was positive about what was happening at that moment, and or even being optimistic too. So it's like it's hard when you are a person that thinks in a negative mindset. It is very hard to train yourself to be positive. And a lot of people are like, oh, be grateful, which is actually, I think, is an exercise in there about being like writing all the things down that you're grateful for, and it really does get you out of your negative mindset. It's like, I'm grateful to have this awesome dog. I'm grateful to have an apartment in a nice neighborhood. I'm grateful to own a car. I mean, these are all materialistic things, but I'm grateful I'm healthy. I'm grateful that I have the ability to run every day. All these things. And when you start thinking down this path, you start to think like, oh, my life is not that fucking bad. So even now, when I get in these ruts where I'm like being a huge negative bitch, I take a moment. I'm like, wait a minute. What am I thinking? Why am I thinking like this? And then I do whatever I need to do to clear my head. That's kind of my first step. For me, it's running or it's reading or something like that. I gotta like get myself kind of distracted and kind of reset. And everyone's gonna have your own way to clear your head. Some people meditate, and then the ideas just start flowing, and then I get distracted and I start working on other things, and then that's when I do actually get people calling me. I don't know. I just opened myself up to all these things, which I think is really great when I start being positive. It's miraculous, to say the least. For me, at least, when this revelation happened for me, when I went from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, things just changed. And when you're positive, the ideas you get are amazing. it's like all of a sudden the floodgates just open and my mind is just open and the whole world is like, yes, Amber, and I don't get rejected. You know, I have my moments where I go right back to negativity, but then I have to bring myself out of it. And I think that's part of the whole process of like being able to identify when you're being negative, getting yourself out of it, and going right back to a positive mindset. And that's just how things progress for you. Rejection hurts. It hurts because it hurts your ego. It hurts like your being. It just hurts your soul when you're like, why doesn't this person like me? What did I do wrong? Our insecurities are gonna get the best of us. Do not let your brain take you to that dark place, because it's not a fun place. You have to just move on. And it sounds really simple. It sounds simple, but it's super hard and difficult to just move on when you're rejected. And the one thought that really got me through a rejection that I thought was gonna hit me hard was, it just wasn't a match. It's very simple. It's a very, very simple thought when you think, wow, it just wasn't a match. Going back to personality types, or, you know, did I mesh well, or did that person like me? It's just wasn't a match. I mean, it's as simple as that. It shouldn't be this hard thing that is going to just fuck with your head and your ego and your, you know, your feelings, and like, what, you know, it shouldn't take you down this like horrible path. You just, all you have to do is just be like, just was not a match. And it's simple as that. And I think that's a positive thing to do, is because you're not going to beat yourself up. And that is, no one needs that. No one needs to beat themselves up over something that they didn't get, or whatever they were rejected. I mean, even when you're rejected from people when you're dating too, it just wasn't a match. If you start telling yourself that, things get a lot simpler in your life, and it just start saying it. Just start saying it, and it's like, it stops the negative thoughts that happen in your head. And that's part of being positive. It's like, whatever happens over there, I didn't get it. It just wasn't a match. Let's talk about failure. Now, failure is a little bit different than rejection, and I mean, they both suck, and they're in the negative category, but it's a little bit different than rejection. Failure sometimes I think hurts even more so than rejection, because when you've tried something, you've gone after what you wanted, you've taken the steps, so you've tried, you made the effort, and that's why it hurts even more when you fail at something. Failure, just because you failed once or maybe even twice, that is not your cue to just quit. Failure is a perfect opportunity to reflect and figure out what you can change to get what you want or need. Whatever the goal was, once you fail, you can adjust and do it again. Whatever that thing may be, I don't know. Usually when people fail, they don't want to reflect because it's a hurtful thing. It's like, ugh. Sometimes failure is a rebirth of some sort. It could be a catalyst of some sort. So failure isn't always bad. I feel like failure is always like a blessing in disguise in some way. You have to reflect on it. You have to look at what you did, change some things, and then you'll succeed. And even the next time you could fail. Failure is just a way to kind of like work out the kinks, as far as I'm concerned. And if you think about your life as like a product and you take each moment of failure, all it is just you working out the kinks of your life. There's one example that I should bring up. Now, a lot of people make the moves to LA or New York, or I mean now even Atlanta, and they say to themselves, okay, I'm gonna relocate from bumfuck Tennessee or bumfuck New York, upstate New York, like bumfuck Buffalo. I'm gonna relocate, and I'm gonna give myself 3 months to succeed in the industry. And if I don't make it, I'll move back home. And I've heard this so many times, and it really is, I don't know, I don't like it. Only because I feel like you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up for failure, because 3 months is not long enough to even gain like a few friends that are worth having. 3 months time. 3 months is also not enough time to kind of get a nice place that you're settled in. Like, so, I mean, even me, it took me like a good year to find a place that I really liked. You know, I found a place, but I was like, I don't really like this place. 3 months is enough time to even kind of meet enough people in a new city. The best advice I ever got was from one of my professors, Meg Knowles. She's at Buff State now. And she said, if you relocate, you have to give yourself 3 years. And I was like, holy fuck, 3 years. And when she saw how surprised I was, she's like, think about it this way. She's like, you need to kind of gain a network. You need to build yourself. You're starting from zero. Where if you think about like that, if you think about your hometown, it's like you already have that foundation. You know people, you've grown up with them. Think about like 3 years is nothing compared to your hometown because you spent 18 years there, essentially. So when you think about relocating, giving yourself 3 months is an automatic way to just set yourself up for just failing, because 3 months is such a short, it's so small. It's like, that's nothing. And what is success? Is it, I mean, I think there's this general bullshit picture of what success is. I mean, and I have a video about success. You need to define success on your terms. If that means making a bunch of money, okay, fine, make a bunch of money. But if that means working in an industry that you find yourself being happy in, if it means fucking having enough time off where you can volunteer at a rescue shelter, by all means do it, you know? If you have to define success on your own terms, not by what people are telling you or how to define it. So giving yourself 3 months when you relocate trying to get into the industry is like, just not realistic. You have to set realistic goals. Just set realistic goals. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to hear anyone saying, oh, I relocated and I'm just not getting any hits. When I moved to LA, thankfully I had enough contacts, but I mean, things were okay. If I would have stayed in LA, if you watch my How I Broke In video, I talk about that whole process of like, I got to LA, I relocated to LA, I got on the cruise ship, I spent 2 years, and I moved to New York. So fast forward into New York, it took me months. Like months and months and months to get where I was. It took me like years to get where I am now. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I still have room for growth, which is great. But there are so many people who start out, like, it takes a few months. It takes a few months to just get comfortable where you are. Because I hated New York. I hated it when I first moved there. I hated it. And it took me a long time to really appreciate where I was. So there are some people where, okay, maybe it does take 3 months, but everyone is on their own path, and it's going to take you longer or shorter or whatever. Everyone's on their own path, and when you stop worrying about what everyone else is doing, you're gonna be a lot happier. If you worry about just you and stop comparing yourself to others and comparing your life to others or their life to yours, things become a lot clearer. Even in this day and age of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just remember this, people are putting their best selves on those social platforms. That's not even the truth, because I feel like they put their exaggerated selves. It's like, it's better than what they really are, you know? Like, they're putting their best selves forward, but also it's like the exaggeration of their life. Don't stay on social media too much, because that shit is depressing after a while. Just remember that it's all facade. It's all facade as far as social media goes. Let's talk about getting fired. Getting fired is a form of failure in some people's eyes. And believe it or not, I was fired twice. I mean, it's really about how you look at it. Is getting fired failure? In some cases it is, some cases it's not. So for me, when I think about getting fired, I really think it's either it's meant to be or it's just time to move on. You need to get out of this spot wherever you are in your life, and you need to go to the next stop. I was working in an office, and you know, I got fired, and I was really sad about it, and I was crying, and I was like, I can't believe I just got fired. While I was doing that job, I hated being in the office. I hated being in an office. I hated it. But I still was upset that I got fired. I remember working in that job, just wanting to be on set. And once I got fired from that job, that's when I was like, okay, I need to make my moves, I need to get back on set, I need to do what makes me happy. And I wouldn't be an AD if it wasn't for me getting fired. Like, getting fired for me was the catalyst that I needed to just start what I really wanted to do. I recently got this comment on my distribution video, my distribution 101 video. The comment was, I want to work in distribution. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. How do I go about this? And I said, you should intern and figure out if this is for you. And then I missed something because she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be good at that. And I say that you try things out. And there's that chance of failure, but if you don't try, you don't make the effort, you're never gonna know. And for me, that's worse than just failing. It's just not knowing. That whole regret of like, oh, I never did X, Y, Z, so I just never know if I was a fucking great painter. I don't know, whatever your goal is. But she could have the chance of failing if she tries. I want her to at least try, work at a distribution company, see if it's for her, and if she loves it, then there are ways to get better working at distribution. But I mean, if you really love it, you'll find a way to make it work for you. I don't want this person to give up. And I don't want anyone that, if you're trying to go for something, I don't want you to give up. I think rejection and failure is really, really tough to tackle for anyone starting out any time in their life. They're starting out in something new to them. So getting rejected is part of it. How you deal with rejection can make you a stronger, better person. How you deal with failure can make you a more successful person. If you take the right steps, looking at what you can do better, being able to reflect, I feel like it's just part of life, and there's no way you're going to avoid it. And you know, it's like those growing pains. I just want everyone to stay positive, because positivity in your brain does you good. So that has been the video on rejection and failure in the film industry, and I really think this applies to kind of every industry, but that's just me. So what is happening with Beyond Film School? My Facebook page. Please like my Facebook page. Please follow me on Instagram, Beyond Film School, and feel free to visit my website for resume tips and networking events. I update the networking events that are worth going to in the New York City area. If you are interested in being one of my mentees, please feel free to go and visit the link below. Visit the site, figure out if the mentorship is for you. I take on mentees, I think quarterly, because I can only do so many. So right now I do have a batch of mentees, and I think they are pretty dope. They're doing really well on set, so I'm really, really happy to have them. And I would like to say that my next production assistant training is going to be October 12th. It is a Friday. The deadline to apply is coming in 3 weeks, September 21st. All these links are below, and if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please comment below. Let me know what's on your mind, what you want covered, all that jazz. Do well, people. Be positive, stay positive, and I shall see you guys next time.